How are things in Glacamora this fine day? 9 years after Finian's Rainbow opened on Broadway, Ella Logan came to the Ogunquit Playhouse in the title role of Maggie, based on a play J.M. Barrie did in 1908, 4 years after Peter Pan. Of course, in 1908, there was a Blarney boom on Broadway that lasted 30 years. Thanks, man. Thanks. It was in 1908 that George M. Cohan did a show called 50 Miles from Boston at the Grand Opera House at 8th and 23rd. I used to play a place on 23rd, the other side of Grammar Street Park, called the Glacamara Pub. Anybody remember the Glacamara Pub? 23rd, the Keane brothers, Paul and Mike, lots of celebrities, chances for name dropping, spare that. Anyway, the Grand Opera House is long gone, the site occupied by a bowling alley and Gap store. But 50 Miles from Boston introduced this song to the world. Thank you, mysterious benefactress. All the stuff in the movie Yankee Doodle Dandy about Harrigan being rejected by publishers is true. It was not what we're looking for, kid. All right, the biggest draw on Broadway at the time, talking 1912, 1908, around there. Okay, biggest draw on Broadway at the time was a guy named Chauncey Olcott. His mother was from Cork. He was a heartthrob, romantic tenor. Remember Tom Jones getting underwear tossed on stage? Chauncey Olcott got garter belts. Got any drums? Let's see, he was a composer, lyricist, director, 25 hit shows in 20 years. He opened a show in 1913 at the aforementioned Grand Opera House at 8th and 23rd. The show was called Isle of Dreams. The hit song at the time from the show was Isle of Dreams. But there was another song in the show that got very little attention at the time. It was almost cut from the show. During rehearsals, because there was doubt about whether it was good enough, whether it would stick with people. They decided to keep it, mostly because they had to fill the time. And now it's the only song you'll ever hear, probably, from the Isle of Dreams. Check out these lyrics. There's a tear in your eye, and I'm wondering why. It never should be there at all. With such power in your smile, a storm you beguile, but there's never a teardrop should fall. When your sweet lilting laughter's like some fairy song, and your eyes twinkle bright as can be, I laugh all the while, all other times smile. Smile a smile for me. There's also a chorus. When Irish eyes are smiling, short is like a morning spring. In the lilt of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. But when Irish eyes are smiling, will steal your heart away. Your smile is a part of the love in your heart, makes the good sunshine more bright. Like the linnet's sweet song, it sings the day long, making our spirits seem light. For the springtime of year is the sweetest of all, and there's never a care or regret. All the sweet hours and times around, when the smile the chance we get. When Irish eyes are smiling, short is like a morning spring. In the middle of Irish laughter, you can hear the angels sing. When Irish hearts are happy, all the world seems bright and gay. But when Irish eyes are smiling, should they steal your heart away? I think the shedding of tears is a little more complicated than just being evil, but hey, it was a popular song. This trend of Irish-themed Broadway shows goes back to the 1870s. And the development of musical theater in its present form, the song Harrigan was a tribute to Ned Harrigan, who did 53 shows in 20 years. A lot of them were satires about a trend at the time. His shows were about a rowdy ceremonial militia called the Mulligan Guard. At this time, a lot of Civil War veterans in big cities formed these ceremonial militias where they wore sashes, plumed hats, and basically marched in formation from tavern to tavern, singing the whole way. When Harrigan and Hart opened the show, these guys would pack the theater in their uniforms and compete to see which section could cheer the loudest. We played condescension and we'll tell you what we know. Marching in the Mulligan Guard for Sligo work below. Our captain's name was Fussy, a Tipperary man. He held his sword like a Russian took whenever he took command. We shouldered guns and marched away. From Baxter Street, we marched to Avenue Way. With drums and fife, how sweetly they did play, as they marched with the Mulligan Guard. When we got home at night now, we did a little bit we ate. We'd all sit up and drink a sup of whiskey, fine and neat. We'd all march home together, we were slippery as lard. Home we'd go, we'd all bum and march with the Mulligan Guard. We shouldered guns and march away. From Baxter Street, we march to Avenue A. With drums and fight, as we begin to play, as we march with Mulligan Guard. When we went home at night now, we were all well oiled. We had our corned beef and we had our cabbage all well boiled. Then we'd all march off again, we'd go down to the pub. We'd have a drink and have a song, slop home in the mud. We shouldered guns and march away. From Baxter Street, we march to Avenue A. With drums and fight, as we begin to play, as we march with the Mulligan Guard. As we march with the Mulligan Guard. Here is an Irish song. I heard it for the first time when it was sung beautifully on the Andy Griffith Show by Otis. Mayberry's Town. What? Character. But yeah, they called him that then, didn't they? The Keys, yeah. So now, so he sang on that show. He sang a song, and it was gorgeous. And it turns out it was written in 1808 by an Irish poet named Thomas Moore. He set it to an Irish heart tune considered to be ancient in 1880. He wrote it for his wife for 50 years when she expressed concern about her looks. And he compared his love for her to a sunflower that follows the sun to the close of the day and never turns its face away. Believe me, folks, endearing young child, that I gaze on so fondly today. Were to change by tomorrow and freeze in my arms, like fairy gifts fading away. Thou wouldst still be adored, as this moment thou art. Let thy loveliness fade if it will, and around the dear ruin, each wish of my heart will entwine itself verdantly still. It is not while beauty and youth are thine own, and thy cheek unprofaned by a tear, that the fervent faith of a soul can be known, and that time will just make thee more dear. For the heart that is truly loved never forgets, and as truly loves on to the close. As the sunflower turns to the sun when it sets, the same face that she turned when it rose. For the heart that is truly loved never forgets, and as truly loves on to the close. As the sunflower turns to the sun when it sets, the same face that she turned when it rose. That song was in a songbook called Moore's Irish Melodies, the best-selling songbook in America during the 1820s. All Irish heart tunes with words, 110 of them. One of them, The Last Rose of Summer, 4 different Hollywood movies just in the 40s, including Gaslight. It's Alice Alquist's encore that the organ grinder plays. Okay, where? Oh, that song, Where's Irish Melodies? There was a kid of Scots-Irish descent growing up in Pennsylvania in the 1820s, and he heard the song constantly as his 3 sisters took turns practicing it on the piano, along with other songs from the book. He did not study piano, and it may or may not be a coincidence that he would grow up to be a songwriter and write, among other things, this song. play rhythm bones, an instrument that was all the rage in the 1840s. There was all the rage in ancient Mesopotamia, because the oldest known pairs were unearthed from beneath the sands of the ancient Mesopotamian city of Ur. This isn't written in, but I thought I'd mention that one of the archaeologists was Agatha Christie's husband, Lord Malouin, and Agatha Christie was asked, "What's it like being married to a guy who digs up fossils and ruins?" And she said, "He's a perfect husband. The older I get, the more interested he gets." So the kid from Pennsylvania wrote this one in the Rivers. Come from Alabama, with Angel on my knee. I'm born in the island that you look for the sea. The rainbow night day, and that the weather it was dry. Sun so hot, the first he got, she's angry but she cried. Oh, Susanna, who dance back in me? Oh, I come from Alabama, with Angel on my knee. That car could be a little faster. Too slow. Soon I'll be in the wilderness, I'll look around. And when it buzzes and we'll fall on the ground. If I do not find heaven, I will surely die. When I'm dead and buried, Susanna, don't you cry. Oh, Susanna, who does not me? Oh, come from Alabama, with Angel on my knee. Oh, Susanna, who does not me? Oh, come from Alabama, with Angel on my knee. Your ancestors played those things. Okay, so the Ogunquit Playhouse started as a repertory company. Founded by Walter and Maud Hartwig, the original theater was a converted garage right next to where the front porch is now. So you look across Shore Road at the front porch, look up to the right, and the fly loft they built onto the converted garage. This you can still see. An original member of the company was a son of Irish immigrants named Leo G. Carroll. Alexander Waverly from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Does it get any cooler than that? One year after his season in Ogunquit, he made his film debut in Sadie McKee with Joan Crawford and became a major, huge film star, 6 Hitchcock films, etc., etc., etc. So Sadie McKee introduced a song that would show up 18 years later in another musical film. A longtime favorite of Cheryl and my 7-year-old grandson Nolan, who on first viewing years ago jumped off the couch and attempted to recreate Donald O'Connor's choreography for Make 'em Laugh, although he managed to stop him before he kicked a hole in the drywall in our living room. And speaking of kicking, Leo G. Carroll kicked his career into gear right here in Ogunquit. And the song from that was in Sadie McKee went like this. All I do is dream. All I do is dream of you all night through. With the dawn I still go on and dream of you. You're every thought, you're everything, you're every song I ever sing. Winter, summer, autumn, spring, I dream of you. All I do is dream of you all day through. cake, right? Well, if it isn't Ethel Barrymore, guess who played the Ogunquit Playhouse? Ethel Barrymore. I guess you guessed that. Another hit show from the Broadway Blarney boom was Peg of My Heart. Staged 1912 at the Court Theatre, still there on West 48th, was revived in 1921, filmed in 1922. In all of these, Peg O'Connell was played by Laurette Taylor, herself of proud Irish descent, at a time when she was a major star of stage and screen, cited as a prime influence by dozens of well-known performers. She made her Ogunquit Playhouse debut in 1934 during her second season, when they were still called the Ogunquit Playhouse of Manhattan Theatre Company, before the present amazing and beautiful playhouse was built. And she returned twice in the next few years. And she did all those shows right here in Ogunquit. In 1949, the Ogunquit Playhouse did a stage adaptation of A Highland Fling, which all you dancers and choreographers out there will recognize as not just a dance, but a traditional Celtic dance encyclopedia. A Highland Fling is referenced in the lyrics to Henry Gibson's 1947 hit, Who Put the Benzodrine in Mrs. Murphy's Oval Tea, based on Who Threw the Overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder. First heard by most people, I know, in a Betty Grable movie from 1943 called Coney Island, set in 1899, the year the song was written. Anyway, Frances Compton, now best remembered as the judge and witness for the prosecution, performed in the Highland Fling at the Ogunquit Playhouse right here in Ogunquit.
Well, the Murphys gave a party just about a week ago. Everything was plentiful, the Murphys are not slow. They treated us like gentlemen, we tried to act the same. Only for what happened, oh, it was an awful shame. Mrs. Murphy dished the chowder out, she fainted on the spot. She found a pair of overalls in the bottom of the pot. Tim Nolan, he got ripping mad, his eyes were bulging out. He jumped up on the piano and loudly he did shout, Who threw the overalls in Mrs. Murphy's chowder? Nobody answered, so we shouted all the louder. It's an Irish trick, it's true, I can lick the make that through. The overalls in Mrs. Murphy's chowder. They dragged the pats from out the pot and laid them on the floor. Each one swore up a new light they'd not seen them before. They were covered up with plaster, worn out at the knees. Had their many ups and downs, as we could plainly see. When Mrs. Murphy, she came to us, she began to cry and pout. Had them in the wash that day, she never took them out. Jim Nolan, he apologized for what he said that night. We put music to the words and sang with all the might. And Mrs. Merkel's Ovaltine. Now she wants to swing a jolly hand and flame. It's an Irish trick, it's true. I can lick the through. The overalls in Mrs. Merkel's chowder. wanted to do something special for Ogunquit. Betty Grable was not in the scene with Mrs. Murphy's chowder. The song was sung by three guys sitting in a bar. "I think I'll buy you a beer for a car," said that Mrs. Murphy. Bartender." The bartender was named Joe Rocca, played by Cesar Romero, who came to the Ogunquit Playhouse 20 years later to star in, I couldn't believe this, 20 years later to star in a revival of a comedy from 1929 called Strictly Dishonorable by none other than Preston Sturges, and it became his first film in 1931. One more thing, Finnegan was played by Charles Winninger, who played Little Nellie Kelly's father in the film where they marched up Fifth Avenue arm in arm with Judy Garland singing "It's a Great Day for the Irish." The Broadway flop of 1959 was a musical adaptation of Sean O'Casey's play Juno and the Peacock. It was called Juno. The male lead in the show was Melvin Douglas, as in Mr. Blanding's Builds Dreams. Melvin Douglas came to Ogunquit in 1951 to appear in Glad Tidings. In the musical, Juno was played by Shirley Booth, an Ogunquit Playhouse regular for years. Juno had a few revivals, including New York City Center's Encores in 2008, starring Victoria Clark and John Shuck. Ben Brantley said in his Times Review that it translates Irish folk vernacular into a style that is part Broadway, part 20th century opera. And if the name John Shuck rings a bell with anybody, you might be thinking of his mind-blowing performance as Pickering in the Ogunquit Playhouse of My Fair Lady in 2008, the same year he did Juno at City Center. That production was directed by Playhouse regular Sean Harrison, who took the perfect musical and added a serious moment about transformation. Any of you who saw Gail Bennett sitting on the steps and pronouncing the rain in Spain for the first time without her Cockney accent will always remember the privilege of seeing it. And the rest of the show was just as good. And it was right here in Ogunquit. Have you heard of the fluter in the town of Ballymun? Times are going back for him without the man was broke. Just as I noticed to his neighbors one and all, telling them he left the company that evening at the ball. Writing it out, he was careful to suggest to them if they found a hat that is convenient to the door, the more they put in, whatever they requested, the better would be the music for battering the floor with the teeth on the flute. A cradle up, the fiddle up, hopping in the middle like bacon on the griddle up, hop down, hands around, crossing to the wall. How to read the game, teeth, fill the flinty ball. Lift to make your mother then got up to show them how. Then the way the Catholic she got up to take her bow. I'll dance you off your legs till she showed that you were born. If you only make the piper play, the hair is in the corn. They'll play it up to the best of his ability. The lady and gentleman began to do the share. Hey, then Nick, you see that as agility. He caught Mrs. Cafferty leaping like a hare with a teeth. On the flip, twinkle up the fiddle out, hopping in the middle like bacon on the griddle. Up, down, hands around, crossing to the wall. How did we get to you through the flinty ball? Hey, thanks. That was the first Irish song Dennis Day ever sang on a Japanese radio show. 30 years devastated Irish songs on the Jack Benny radio show. The first one was Unknown, that one, Unknown in America. Can't figure out where he might have gotten it except through family. The guy who wrote it was from the hometown of my great-grandparents on my dad's side in County Cavan. His name was Percy French. He had a famous lawsuit where he ridiculed the local railroad because the trains were always late, and he wrote an editorial holding them up to ridicule, and so the railroad sued him for libel. He showed up an hour late for his trial into a packed courtroom, and the judge says, "Before I hold you in contempt, how about telling us where you've been for the last hour?" And he said, "Waiting for a train, Your Honor." Walter, Walter Hartwig died suddenly in early 1941, and his wife Maud became the Playhouse's savior. Her first season at the helm brought Betty Furness, Faye Ray, Estelle Winwood, Tallulah Bankhead, Elsa Maxwell, and a 21-year-old kid just starting out named Ricardo Montalban. In 1947, Maud turned for help to a Broadway producer named George Abbott, a legend who continues to produce. George Abbott, a legend who continues to produce high-quality work at the age of 133. What's that? He died? George Abbott died? Oh, sorry. It turns out he only produced high-quality work until he was 107. And he was there for the Ogunquit Playhouse when we needed him. Oh, my name's Matt McNamara, I'm the leader of the band. Oh, if you remember, we're the finest in the land. We play the wakes and weddings and at every fancy ball. When we play funerals, we play the marches all. Oh, the drums go bang, the cymbals hang, the horns they blaze away. Ricardo bumps the old bassoon while I the pipes to play. Tennessee tunes the flute, the music is something grand. A credit to a liar known as McNamara's band. Diddly-die, diddly-dum, diddly-da, right, diddly-dum. We're just now rehearsing for a very grand affair. The annual celebration, all the gentry will be there. When General Grant to Army King shook me by the hand, he said I'd never seen the likes of McNamara's band. Hump the drums go bang, the cymbals time, and the horns they blaze away. Ricardo pumps the old bassoon while I the pipes to play. Yeah, and she dancing tunes the flute, the music is something grand. A credit to a liar known as McNamara's band. Years later, after what? 1941, okay. The Ogunquit Playhouse did a world premiere of a musical called Just Around the Corner. Lyrics by Langston Hughes, who was just coming off street scene. Joe Sherman did the music, and he said, once Langston Hughes came in, the whole enterprise became serious, sensitive, meaningful, because we had a poet's mind at work now. When Langston Hughes came to Ogunquit, he was treated like royalty. 8 years later, Ethel Waters received a similar welcome when she came to Ogunquit for a member of the wedding, 3 years after she started the film adaptation. Theater and Ogunquit. Two places that embrace and celebrate our differences, and it has ever been thus. In my long career performing Irish music far and wide, I often got complaints from people who were very firm in the belief that Irish American songs like I've been doing are inferior to real Irish songs. I should mention that no one who ever brought that up in 42 years was from Ireland. Only Americans even ever cared about the difference or made the distinction. So there's a song by a guy named James Royce Shannon, born in Michigan, wrote the Missouri Waltz. But his first well-known song was in 1913, and he wrote it for a Chauncey Alcott vehicle called Shawnee Jimmy, Little Jimmy. And it opened at our old familiar one, the Grand Opera House at 8th and 23rd. Alcott recorded the song on a double-sided 78 RPM shellac disc, and it went straight to #1. Later, Bing Crosby sang the song in the film Going My Way, just gave it away, and recorded it on magnetic tape, which was just emerging at the time, and that recording sold over 1 million copies. This song is in Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz. About the band's last concert. It was sung by Steve Martin in the movie House Sitter. The cast of Cheers sang into a phone for a newborn infant. It was one of Carla's grandkids. But when James Shannon wrote the song, he wrote it in collaboration with his mother, Eliza. From a tune she had sung to him when he was a babe in arms. And he had somehow never forgotten it. Eliza Shannon was Irish. I think she was from Killarney, but I haven't been able to pin it down. If anybody can help me out, talk to me after. Over in Killarney, many years ago, Mother sang this song to me in tones so sweet and low. A simple little ditty in a good old Irish way. I'd give the world if I would hear her sing that song today. Hush not, don't you cry. Often dreams I wander to that cup again. Feel her arms a hugging me as when she held me then. Hear her voice a humming to me as in days of yore, when she used to rock me fast asleep outside that cabin door. distinction of being married to the author of Movie Gal's Guide to Classic Film, and I have learned a lot. I have a deep and growing admiration for the works of Betty Davis. I feel like I'm just starting to understand how incredible she was. Well, she played the Ogunquit Playhouse too. And not only that, Betty Davis was the first ever female lifeguard at Ogunquit Beach. She came here as a girl growing up in Lowell, and then she came back a legend. There's so much to learn. During the war, Maud Hartwig kept the Playhouse going by sheer force of her personality. She kept the lights on, but not all of them. Being on the coast, Ogunquit was subject to wartime blackouts, but the shows went on. Because theater will survive in any circumstance, including the Peloponnesian Wars and the bubonic plague and anything else this cruel world can throw at it. That's my say. Thanks to a wonderful Ogunquit Music in the Park, where the show can go on. Thanks to Jason Corbin for taking a chance and booking a guy who plays Irish music. The hell are you making? We'll talk. Thanks to Larry, Linda. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. I know it won't be long until we meet again under fair skies. But our wonderful Ogunquit Playhouse, right here in Ogunquit. Trivia question: what song did they sing in the last scene of the last episode of the Mary Tyler Moore Show?
It's a long way to Tipperary.
You got it. Patty wrote a letter. Sorry, guys. Patty wrote a letter to his Irish Mario, saying, should you not receive this rain to let me know if I make mistakes in spelling. Molly dear, said he, remember it's a pen, can't spell, don't put the blame on me. It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye, Tipperary, farewell, Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, with my heart right there. Molly wrote this neat reply to Irish patio, saying Nick Maloney wants to marry me, so leave the shadow to me, or you'll be to blame for what is fair. You drove me silly, hoping you're the same. It's a long way to Tipperary, it's a long way to go. It's a long way to Tipperary, to the sweetest girl I know. Goodbye to Piccadilly, farewell Leicester Square. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, with my heart right there. It's a long, long way to Tipperary, with my heart right there. Thanks, Kevin.
performances here in the park as well as Perkins Cove. Also, we have, for those that are not able to attend, we do have it live on television on WOGT and on the Ogunquit Police Department's Facebook. So if you're not able to attend in your home and you want to watch the show, visit us on Facebook and like us as well. And once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for an amazing show. And come back and visit us either Friday, 5:30 at Perkins Cove, or on Sunday. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks. It was